Welcome to this week's virtual training course. I'm Mike Sheehy. Today we're going to go over power tool safety. Safety with working all sorts of power, AC, DC, fluids, air, and powder. We have any number of power tools that we could be using out on the site. We could have saws, we could have drills, um, sawzalls, sanders, who knows what, maybe nail drivers. But we got to know how to use them, how to make sure that the guards are all in place, and what we need to do to be careful with them. These could be powered by electric through outlet, battery, could be a pneumatic tool like a jackhammer. We could be using liquid fuel like in a chainsaw. We do have hydraulic tools on our vehicles, and also in some cases we may use power actuated tools, powder actuated. We need to be very careful with electrical tools. We need to check the plug, the cord. We want to make sure that we don't operate in extremely damp or wet conditions. And always, if we are using a plug-in electrical in the field, we must be connected to a GFCI outlet. Always make sure that we unplug the tool before we adjust it, change blades, change drill bits, whatever it might be. Anytime we go to change the configuration, make sure it's not powered. Our wireless guys are really aware of this one. Never run extension cords through doorways. When they get checked by the customer, that is a big no-no for them. So we got to make sure that we keep the cords out of the doorways. They could get crushed, could expose the wires, they could come in contact with the frame, energize the entire structure or trailer, whatever the case may be. Also, they're a tripping hazard. So again, on work sites, we got to make sure that we keep them out of the walkways for people that are moving back and forth. Also, keep them out of water. Now, with portable DC power, we got to remember that these batteries will need to get charged once in a while. And we got to be real careful with lithium-ion batteries nowadays. They can catch fire. Now, sometimes you may have a charger that has the same voltage, but it might not be delivering enough current fast enough to make the battery work well. We could burn out the charger, we could burn out the battery. Either way, we got to make sure that we have the right tool for the job. Just like you wouldn't want to try using a crescent wrench to drive a nail, you don't want to use a hammer to set a screw. Also, while you are using that drill, be careful you don't drill through your safety belt when you're trying to drill the pole. Okay, pneumatic tools. Make sure you check the hose, no bends, no kinks. Make sure all the connectors are exactly matched. There are a lot of different connectors and they may seem to fit, but under pressure they could go wildly flailing around. So make sure you got a hose sock and whip check, things like that, to hold that hose in case it does come loose. Again, with this, you're chipping and grinding. Make sure you got the proper PPE. You're going to need eye protection, maybe a face shield if you're doing some close-up work. And remember, because of the silica in concrete and everything else, that whenever we're cutting, chipping, or grinding on concrete or any material like that, we have to have water on the point of contact. This will help reduce the silica exposure. Okay. On hydraulic power, first off, we want to make sure that we have enough fluid in the system. Make sure it's the right type for that piece of equipment. And do not ever check for leaks in a hydraulic system with your bare hands if the pumps are on. I know a few weeks ago we went over hydraulic injection problems. We don't want to get caught up with that. And again, with any of these tools like this, things that are going to be moving, we got to make sure that we're not wearing any loose jewelry, no loose clothing, anything that can get caught up. And never operate a machine with the guards missing. Okay, liquid fuel, gasoline for, let's say we're running a chainsaw. We got to make sure that we carry our fuel in metal cans. I know a lot of times people will buy the pre-mix, so it does come in a metal can, and we don't have to worry about getting the proper proportions, especially the two cycle mixtures. Make sure that the chainsaw or whatever you're filling is cooled down before refilling. No smoking around the area that you're filling it in. Don't try to refill the tool when it's inside of a truck. Not a good choice. And be careful not to overfill because that'll spill all over and then we end up with more of a mess. If you are using a chainsaw, make sure you got the right protective gear. Ballistic nylon chaps are going to prevent your legs from getting cut up. The chainsaw moves at an incredible rate of speed, and it doesn't cut, it rips and tears. And it's a really nasty injury. Also, it's a good idea to have the ballistic nylon vest and also have your hard hat that has the face screen and the built-in earmuffs. Another big no-no for OSHA is removing guards. I know sometimes on little hand grinders and that people remove the guard to get it into a tighter spot. But again, if that wheel breaks off, you could be in trouble. Uh, so make sure all the guards are in place. Don't remove the guards out of place for you to try to get into a tighter spot. And make sure that you don't expose yourself to any moving parts to anything. Like we're saying here, this guy now works at IHOP. It's not too often that we use powder actuated tools, but if we do, sometimes, we do have to mount some sort of cabinet on a concrete wall or into a brick wall, and these are great tools for doing that. But you always got to make sure you check the load that you're using and double check what's on the other side of the floor, the wall, the ceiling that you're blasting into. I know years ago I was putting down some metal track on a floor so we could put some steel studs up. We were near the end of the day and we ran out of the orange loads that we were using in the powder actuated tool. And my buddy just tosses me a black one. He says, "Oh, this one should be okay." And I put that in. I activated it. The gun went way up in the air. I blew a hole through the concrete floor and it landed on somebody, all the concrete landed on somebody's lab table down on the first floor. So make sure you got the right loads. Don't ever walk around with one of these tools loaded. Don't, and just like good gun safety, keep your finger off the trigger. Never put your hand in front of the barrel. Make sure you have the proper PPE, your safety glasses for sure, and hearing protection. Again, anything above 85 dB, we need to need to cover the ears up. So I know we work with these tools. Just be smart with them. Be safe. We've upped our safety standards, so up yours too.